I'm gonna I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do it my way, and
Mm.
we'll see what
Okay, I can
happens.
relate like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's a good one.
He
He
was
is.
on a mainstream level
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if I don't know if I spoke about my Drake story in our previous um
Mm-hmm.
interview, but I was around when, like, right before I was managed by um a guy who was managing Drake literally right before Wayne signed him. It was like he
Mm-hmm.
was this one guy, this guy was managing him, and then like next thing you know, he got picked up by Wayne. So in between that time, he had made a record called Replacement Girl. I know you
Mm.
familiar with Replacement Girl, right?
Early days. Yeah.
So Trey Songz was singing. So I don't know if you know
Yes. That's they came to Toronto
originally.
and they done that. Mm-hmm.
So originally Drake sang the hook.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
yeah, yeah. Originally, Drake was singing the hook, but at that particular time, we were still in the era where you had to choose. You either gonna rap
Yes.
or you gonna sing.
Or sing.
And he and I get it because I was in that same pressure cooker at
Yeah.
that time where
Drake. Yeah.
he felt like he had to choose. Even though he could have put the record out with him singing. I heard the record with him singing.
Mm-hmm.
I heard, and I remember thinking to myself like, "Yo, why didn't he put that out?" Because remember, I was the one like, "Fuck it, I'm singing and rapping, whatever." So I heard him doing. I'm like, I don't get why didn't he put it out? But at the same time, I got it because it was during that era where it wasn't cool for you to be a singer and a rapper. You had to either be a singer or you had to be a rapper. Well, by the time fast forward a couple years later, um Best I Ever Had dropped, and that shit went
Mm-hmm.
out of here.
And then.
And that was when the world finally decided it is okay for you to sing and rap. And from that point
Mm-hmm.
on, the game changed. So to answer the question, I would say Drake. Um because
Yeah, yeah. That's good what you're saying.
I've always
Yeah.
been unapologetic, just like Drake, unapologetic to say I do both. And and shout out to Wayne. Wayne gave him the freedom and the creative control to be able to do that, and
You
they
know
they
what? I
took a
like that you
chance.
brought. I like that you brought that up because right now that explains a lot of people, even in Toronto, who got influenced off of the Drake. I'll be straight up. I'm gonna say it. This might
Tory
go
Lanez.
viral. Tory, okay, Tory Lanez, The Weeknd, Party
Yeah,
Next Door. They all got. Let's be straight up. They got that. What you just said is okay to sing. So Weeknd instead of
yeah.
rapping, because Weeknd could rap. Weeknd could rap, but he done singing. I don't
Okay,
know if people know he can rap. I
I
heard he
didn't know
was
that.
starting off. He was freestyling. There's videos of him when he was like younger in Toronto
Okay,
rapping on the street, and he could have done
okay,
it like Drake, but he picked
okay.
the
You picked
singing.
the singing.
So
Okay,
like what you're saying, they're
yeah,
saying no, I can't be like Drake. If he was to rap and sing, they would say you are a copy. Like you're the
right,
copycat. You're from the same
right,
city, and you're gonna and light skin. Let's be straight. So
right,
that's why Weekend still broke through. That's why you see Weekend as big. There's a big thing with that too.
right.
That's the
And
elephant in the
I
room.
didn't know that.
There's a big thing with Drake and Weekend. I
Like I
just
said,
say that.
I literally, I remember that time because, like I said, shout out T Slack. Um, he he was actually T Slack was the first person to bring Drake to America.
Mm,
That was He managed me when I was just a producer. And that was me and his conflict was essentially like it was it, kind of like the Kanye effect where it was like
mm,
it's hard to see this producer as a rapper or it's hard to see this producer as an
mhm.
artist. That
Yeah.
was that was our our conflict. He met me as a producer, and
Yeah.
years later, got back into doing my own music, and it was hard for him
Mm-hmm.
to see both sides. I listen. I don't necessarily blame him for it. It is what it is, right? But yeah, he brought Drake to Atlanta, and he had kind of started doing a lot of his networking, from Atlanta, and it kind of went from there. But I remember, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I remember that time where it was like, you know, and what people don't understand too, Drake got a lot of backlash from, number one, just his image is just kind of you know, light skinned preppy dude that has skills, but because he
Yeah,
was
but
light skinned and preppy, he got backlash just from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
y-
then you
yeah,
add
but
singing on top of that.
yeah,
He had a lot that he had to fight through to get to where he
but the Chris
got to.
Browns kind of helped it too. The Chris Browns kind of helped it because Chris Brown, like he was the R&B, the pure R&B artist in America. So, and he's light skinned too. So to me, I see
Yeah,
they push that forefront a lot of the times. I'm just saying straight up. That's what
right.
is pushed.
But but
If you
but
check the
again,
guys who are at the
because it
top,
was it was R&B, like it's like, okay, that was
yeah.
Chris Brown was in that lane, so it was like, okay, we can keep you in that lane. Essentially, Drake was carving out, and it's hard being,
Mm,
what I call the cowboy that goes over the hill first. You get
mm,
the first cowboy over the hill. The Indians, they take shots. You're the first
mm,
person to carve out this new lane, and it's like, okay, it either works or it don't work. And if it don't work, then you're the guy that is going to be known for it. Okay, he tried it, it didn't work, but
the
shout
work.
out to Drake. He made Yeah, it worked because he made a good project, and he found the right way to fuse it all. Shout out to 40. He
Mm,
they t- collectively came together and made a good project that said that, okay, now it's okay for that, and it broke open the lane for everything that you essentially hear right now. You know what I mean?
mhm,
T-Pain was a little, maybe, but even T-Pain, like, T-Pain was more so looked at as like the R&B guy. You know what I mean? It was
mhm.
like a T-Pain is a singer.